What's up, Banter fam? Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Miles, and today we are going to talk about the state of the crypto market heading into what is a pretty pivotal week with CPI. I want to discuss the meme coin market and talk about whether a top is potentially in for Pepe and whether there are now short opportunities or whether it is simply just a dip that could resume to the upside. I also want to discuss what the meme coin market has done to the Bitcoin and the Ethereum networks, because it has had drastic effects on network congestion, and as a result, it's raised some big question marks over the future of Bitcoin and, of course, over the future of Ethereum. And then I also have a few more altcoins today that I want to run you through that I'm potentially interested in looking at buying, just as a little bit of alpha. So general market update today, and of course, we'll discuss all of those topics that I previously listed. Make sure you smash the like button if you're excited. And I just want to start by zooming out a little bit and looking at the Bitcoin chart, because obviously we have had a dip today, but I think it's important to remember, we are significantly up since our November FTX lows at 15,600. We've pumped all the way up to 31,000, and it's pretty natural to have a market correction after you've had over a 100% move to the upside, which has largely been fueled by this Bitcoin as a flight to safety, digital gold type narrative in the face of what's been a pretty scary banking collapse in the US. The banking collapse narrative, I don't think, is going away anytime soon. However, when you do have price action this aggressive for such a long period of time, it's natural to have areas of cool off. Now, if I go into the weekly chart and I look at, the really key zones, clearly the major key zone is the 31 to the 32K zone, which we almost rejected off. We're coming back down now. And then your next major range high target would be 25K. So in this zone here, and then obviously, you've got range lows, and that's kind of your next key zone. So I'm kind of thinking of Bitcoin right now in like three key zones. We're currently just in a range between these zones. Now, if we actually zoom in to get a bit more of a feel for shorter term price action, not just on the weekly, we know there are basically local supports for Bitcoin. So we've had a huge pump. We've had a rally to the upside, a bounce on the daily off the 200 MA after that huge aggressive pullback to 19.7. Then we pumped all the way up, tested range highs again, obviously broke through range highs, deviated above, came back in, then set a new floor at the 26.4 level. So for me, in terms of a Bitcoin support, 26.4 is a very key level. This was the level of the initial deviation above range high. Then you have also significant support in this zone for buyers. This blue zone I mapped out as like a zone that a lot of buyers were stepping in at. We're currently reaching that zone. So I view this as an area that is likely for Bitcoin to bounce. And I mean, we'll see over the next couple of days how Bitcoin reacts in this zone. But I am eyeing a bounce in this zone somewhere here. Obviously, if we break below, then we start targeting 26.5 for Bitcoin. So overall bearish, because you have just look at the trend. You've got your high setting in here. You have your lower high. You have another lower high. Likelihood is we bounce, we push up into this diagonal, potentially make another lower high, and then that would pave the way for a lower low. So if we're just taking the trend, the bearish trend, that is kind of what I'm thinking can happen. Of course, my validation to flip bullish would be essentially a bounce off this blue zone, a break of this diagonal here, push up towards the 29K zone, and then a flip of an SR flip of 29K to kind of eye that 31K target again. So what you would want to see is a break of this diagonal trend. Until then, we are still in a Bitcoin downtrend, and this still becomes like a decent short area. So if you've been kind of savvy enough to pick off the shorts in this zone with the two lower highs coming in, yes, we did come above because this trend line isn't perfect, but it's kind of just a rough guide to kind of say, okay, we are in a bit of a downtrend for Bitcoin. In terms of Ethereum, I'm looking at a similar thing, but we're actually above range high still for Ethereum. So ETH BTC over the last couple of days has gone up slightly. Ethereum showing just a little bit more strength than it has in recent times. Yes, we did break through its diagonal. We can see this was basically the trend that kept it in good stead from its early February to its early May run all the way up to 2100 around the time of the Shanghai upgrade. We see multiple touches of this line as support. But we also see us now losing this trend. So Ethereum now starting to break trend, starting to trend downwards. And I think your key major level for the Ethereum chart is actually the level we're currently on. And this is the old range high at 1860. So if I go into the daily chart, you can see this was a key level for Ethereum back around the time of the merge last September. You can see this vertical line highlights when the merge is. This was the first level that broke down for Ethereum last year, just after the lunar collapse. And obviously into FTX, we also came back down and tested range lows. But this was the zone that we rejected off multiple times. And basically, this was the major resistance level and acted also as resistance in March before we had a push above pre-Shanghai. And then now we are flirting with this zone of support again. So the bullish scenario for ETH would be, all right, we hold range highs here and we look to create a new high. Unfortunately, though, what we've got is now a lower high set in on the daily chart. And what we don't want to see is Ethereum bounce here, make another lower high, because then the likelihood of breaking below range highs is significant. And once you break below, then I am targeting a 1670 Ethereum, because that's your next key level. That's your mid-range level. And then below that, your next key level is 1430, which is your 2018 all-time high. Very significant historical level for Ethereum. So let's see if we do bounce. Of course, my bullish invalidation would be a break above and a reclamation of 2000. That would be my bullish zone for Ethereum. Until then, I continue to kind of look for shorting opportunities. Right now is not the greatest market to trade in. It's quite difficult, but there are some opportunities out there. I'll discuss a few coins I'm looking at today. There are a few players that are showing relative strength in the alt market. When we do get bounces like your injectives, your renders, and there are also a few coins that look horrible that are best to short in the down market, like your Aptos and your 𝗕𝗏𝗕𝗬𝗓s ahead of their big unlocks this week. So those are a few of the coins that I've got my eye on. ETH BTC is super important because this is our altcoin season indicator. I guess this is our indicator for the strength of the altcoin market in general. We actually did see a swing off the lows at the 6.2 region. We have actually made a higher low, which is good overall. Unfortunately, though, this is only on the daily chart. If we zoom out to the weekly, we can see that we are still in a pretty significant downtrend. And even though we have pivoted off the lows, this may not take us any higher than the orange zone. So for Ethereum BTC, I'm still targeting lower. I've got my 5-6 zone that I'm targeting. For ETH BTC, that would be the zone where I, go heavier into alts, unless we do break above this orange zone, which we've been rejecting off. Then I will look at swinging into alt long positions. Something like this is likely to happen because once we're above mid-range, we adjust our probabilities and we can start targeting the 8.4 zone just a little bit more. So this would be my indicator, and this would be in complements with a rejection of dominance, a strong Bitcoin, etc. That would be my indicator for targeting an altcoin rally to the upside. Right now, as long as we're below this and as long as ETH BTC is in a downtrend, then you can assume altcoins are in a downtrend because Ethereum Bitcoin is essentially, Ethereum's the leader of the alts, right? So ETH BTC is going to show you the general market strength versus Bitcoin. And of course, you've got total 2 as another indicator, which can show that. And this is also actually double topped around the 6.84 billion region. You have a top, and now we're breaking below the horizontals. So, I wish I could come on here and be bullish in terms of altcoins because, I would love some of my altcoin positions to pump, of course, but, we have to remain objective on the channel. And the objective Miles is telling me, look, we've just had a double top. We've actually had a lower high into significant horizontal resistance on total 2. So this is the market cap excluding Bitcoin. And the next kind of target for me is this 473 region. Do we get there? Can we swing back up and claim above? I don't know, but I'll keep you updated on the show. I'm just going off the probabilities at the time of recording. Now, the meme coin run, and at the end of the show, I'm going to get into what I'm actually doing with meme coins in terms of whether we can short and all that stuff. But I want to talk about what the meme coin run has meant for crypto in general just for a second. The meme coin run is very interesting because we've had a lot of hype. We've had a risk appetite getting back into the market, but we've had risk appetite in absence of new liquidity inflows into the market. So it's been a unique scenario where, unlike the 2021 meme coin run, where Doge actually resulted in a lot of retail people entering crypto, and then that had rotational positive effects for the rest of the market, this meme coin run has been isolated mainly to crypto degens who got bored and were just itching to take a trade. And what that's meant is that we've actually seen a crypto rotation, not out of stable coins, not out of cash primarily, which is how you measure new inflows, but actually out of other cryptos. So we've seen a lot of the market bleeding whilst Pepe's pumping, and a lot of the market selling off, Bitcoin going down whilst Pepe and all these other meme coins have been increasing, and that's because we've seen liquidity just rotating. Because if you actually mark the date that Pepe was created, it was around April 14th. The total crypto market cap, excluding Bitcoin and ETH, was 403 billion. Today, it's 353 billion. So we've lost 50 billion or 12% of the total crypto market cap, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, even though we've had a huge meme coin run. Pepe was 4,000 market cap here. Now Pepe is, well, around the $1 billion market cap range. It's actually a bit less now, but let's just call it $1 billion. So it's basically 350,000 x'd in the time that the market's bled 12% of its market cap. So this isn't a situation where new liquidity is coming into the market and meme coins are pumping. This is just a rotation. So what that means is it's a very PvP market, and this isn't a bullish sign. I said this like basically on my Twitter a while ago. Like I said, the Pepe run, where is it? Let me just get this up because I think it summarizes it well. I said BTC, Coinbase, total 3. Yeah, here we go. I said on May 1st, so 8 days ago, meme coins like Pepe are exploding. Total 3's flat. No new liquidity inflows entering the market. Since then, it's gotten even worse. Not a bullish sign, considering most meme coin rallies signal local tops, simply capital rotating from one coin to the next. This was on May 1st. If we go look at the Bitcoin chart and look at the price on May 1st, this was the price. It was here. So basically, since then, it's been down. We tried to make a push up. We got rejected off our diagonal, and now we're down 6%. So it's true. I mean, the Pepe run actually did signal the local top for Bitcoin. Pepe was actually created here. Can you guys believe it? Pepe was literally created here. It started exploding around this zone, and then that was the local top. So, like, the reason why is because, look, obviously Pepe is not causing huge liquidity outflows out of Bitcoin. That would be preposterous to suggest. But in general, it's not a bullish sign when you get risk appetite, no new capital coming in. It just shows the markets getting impatient, and impatience is never a good thing when it comes to crypto. And it also typically, historically, has signaled local tops, because the difference is between when meme coins start a rally, like they did in 2021 with Doge, that started a rally because you had people buying on Coinbase, you had people buying on Robinhood, you had new people coming in the market, getting interested in crypto because of meme coins. This time, it's very different. It's basically just the Twitter guys and the YouTube guys getting in, and not much retail getting in. So that's kind of why I made that assertion on my Twitter, and it ended up being pretty correct to this date, signaling basically a local top. And I do expect that trend to continue. Obviously, if it doesn't, we'll flip accordingly based on price action, but that's kind of the trend I'm eyeing right now. Total 3 as well, starting to break down off its major long-term diagonal. If we go into the weekly, this should become more obvious, although I don't have it visualized on the weekly, but it's okay. On the daily chart, we can see the trend in here, just starting to break below, starting to lose a bit of momentum on total 3. I'm watching total 2, though. This breakdown is really, in my opinion, the more important one for me. And I'm keeping my eyes on total 2 to see what happens there. So now I want to get into the Bitcoin and Ethereum networks and some of the issues we've seen over the last couple of days, and what it actually means for Bitcoin. And then I'm going to get into meme coins, and we'll do some TA on meme coins and see whether it's time to short, as well as going through some main indicators. So if you do want to trade in the trading competition, you can do so on ByBit. I'm actually up 58%. I'm ranked 44. I don't know where Ran is. Last time I checked, I was ahead of Ran. He may have flipped me over the last day, but I'm pretty sure I'm still in the top 2 out of all the hosts. So I'm still beating Kyle, Sheldon, maybe Ran. I need to check where his ranking is. I know I was beating him yesterday, but look, I'm doing pretty well amongst the banter community. Obviously up, 58%. I'm going to try and make top 10, but you guys know my goal at the start of the trading comp was actually just to beat the other hosts. So that's all I really want to do. I'm just a competitive guy. As long as I can beat the other hosts, I don't really mind. I'll let you guys win the prizes. If you guys finish top 10, of course, we've got the ROLEX in second place, the Tesla in first place, $10,000 third place, and then the other prizes are at $500 right now. Of course, this scales depending on the amount of people that enter. If more people enter the comp, the bigger the prizes are going to be. So if you haven't entered yet, you still actually have 22 days to play. So there's plenty of time for you to nab a top 10 spot. A lot of these, what usually happens in this comp is a lot of people get a huge lead and then they just drop off, usually because they get greedy and they try and, chase gains. So we'll see a lot of shifting amongst the top 10. Just stick to your strategy and, be diligent. And I think there's still a decent chance of making the top 10 If you're a decent trader, it's a $250 minimum, of course. So link in the description if you do want to trade in the trading competition. And yeah, good luck to everyone trading. I'm going to keep pushing. And as long really, I'm just monitoring Rand and Sheldon. As long as I stay above them, I'm pretty happy. So let's talk about Bitcoin, the effect on the Bitcoin market of all this meme coin mania, because what it's done is it's highlighted a few fundamental, I wouldn't say issues, because the Bitcoin network was created for a reason, but it's highlighted fundamental differences in the way people view how Bitcoin should operate. So let's just look at the mempool right now. We can see Bitcoin has 455,000 unconfirmed transactions. So these are pending transactions that are waiting in the queue. As a result, we've seen gas fees breach the $20 mark for high priority fees over the last 24 hours. We see them at $12 now, which is slightly lower. In terms of Bitcoin's historical fee data, this is still quite high. So for Bitcoin, whenever you have 10 to 20 plus dollar transactions, that signals the network's getting pretty congested, and we can see this verified by the purging rate in terms of sats alongside the memory usage and the unconfirmed transaction ratio of the Bitcoin network right now. Why is the Bitcoin network congested, and what does it mean? Well, the reason it's congested is because of ordinal inscriptions and BRC20 tokens. So we've talked about this trend quite a lot on the channel, but if you guys don't know what inscriptions are, it's basically a way for you to create a token or an NFT on the Bitcoin chain itself. So there's been a huge trend in minting Bitcoin NFTs on the Bitcoin network, and as a result, we've seen inscriptions on the network absolutely skyrocket. And to do an inscription, obviously this counts as a transaction, right? So the more inscriptions, the more transactions on the Bitcoin network. The other thing we've seen is not only ordinals, but also BRC20 tokens, which are a type of ordinal, by the way, but they're essentially tokens that you can create, just like an ERC20, but on a different type of standard for the Bitcoin network. And these tokens are being used as a proxy to create meme coins. So a lot of people have been creating meme coins in the Bitcoin network. Clearly, we have been in a meme coin season. We're still technically in a meme coin season. And for that reason, people have been utilizing the newfound passion for inscriptions to actually create meme coins. So the Bitcoin network has been home to the creation of thousands of new memes. We can see the number of transactions have been skyrocketing in terms of BRC20 tokens alongside ordinals. We see 641 Bitcoin paid in fees for BRC20 tokens, 3.7 million total BRC20 transactions, 631 total non-BRC20 ordinal transactions as well. So this has been a crazy trend that has risen in the face of a pretty strong Bitcoin NFT trend, which then transformed itself into a Bitcoin meme coin trend. Now, the Bitcoin transaction fees have seen a spike to their highest level since May 2021. So it's been 2 years since Bitcoin transaction fees were this expensive. And the first thing people have been very quick to say, and I would agree with this as well, is that, look, this is arguably bad for mass adoption. Because if you have really high fees, this creates a barrier to using the Bitcoin network for your average user. Not only that, but countries like El Salvador that are adopting Bitcoin as legal tender, Bitcoin can't actually achieve its purpose to be a low-cost method of transacting. Now, of course, you have the Lightning Network, which helps scale Bitcoin, but the Lightning Network has also been experiencing issues because of the network being so congested. So even the Lightning Network's been more expensive than it should be. So the short of it is, although an increase in transaction activity is good in many ways, and I'll get into the good in a second, the bad is the network is significantly more congested. This trend will make it very hard for Bitcoin to ever be a payments network. Not that I think it would ever be a payments network anyway, but you know, if you have hope for Bitcoin as the world's reserve currency, you certainly can't do it with huge congestion, hour wait times, and $20 transaction fees. And it's pricing people out of using the network. That's the major concern. And I 100% hear those concerns, but there are a few huge benefits. And I believe for a few reasons that this is actually long-term going to be a net positive for the Bitcoin network. We actually saw Binance as well actually close Bitcoin withdrawals, reinstate them, then close them again due to network congestion. So it got really, really serious. And Binance was also kind of fudded for moving their Bitcoin out of the exchange, but it ended up just being a an organic reshifting of hot to cold wallets for Binance, in case you heard that FUD. So why could it be a bullish thing long term for the Bitcoin network? Well, let's just go into Blockchair, which is a website that evaluates the Bitcoin blocks. Let's go into the most recent block, which is 788,844. This is the most recent block of Bitcoin to be mined. We can see here in the general info section that the total amount of fees generated for this block as a reward to miners was $155,000. This is almost a 10x what we were seeing in the peak of the bear market last year in terms of fees paid back to miners. Now, why is this significant? Well, if you guys watched my interview with 𝗕𝗘𝗕𝗫 a few months ago, you would know we discussed probably the biggest issue facing the sustainability of the Bitcoin network. That is, with the issuance of Bitcoin halving every 4 years, because that is what's programmed into Bitcoin's code. You have block rewards halving every 4 years. That's why we have the halving. The supply is obviously going in half. So miners are receiving less. So as miners are receiving less, but the price of Bitcoin with the hash rate quite high is actually getting more expensive to mine, doesn't that mean that the miners could start going underwater? At what point do the miners fail to actually break even on their Bitcoin? And at what point do they start having to physically shut off their mining stations because they just can't afford to mine Bitcoin anymore? It just doesn't make sense. It's a major concern with the Bitcoin network because as you have the supply halving, that's all good and well. But if fee growth can't catch up to counteract the supply halving every 4 years, then that's an issue. So the whole thesis behind the Bitcoin network is over time it has to grow and be used more so that the fees go up to negate the negative effects of the Bitcoin halving from a supply perspective. Now, for us as users, obviously we want less supply. Because that's good for the price, right? In terms of the price. But in terms of a miner, why would they mine if they're going to lose money? So that's been one of the major questions around the Bitcoin network. Now, the problem is when miners stop mining, that essentially means the network has more attack vectors. Because less miners means the network's less secure, it's less decentralized, and it's cheaper to initiate an attack on the Bitcoin network. So there's actually more attack vectors for Bitcoin. It's a less secure network with less miners. It's also a less decentralized network. So what we've seen over the last few days is a new use case, which, yes, is clogging up the Bitcoin network. I have no doubt that Ordinals are making the Bitcoin network relatively unusable for your average person. But as a side effect, a positive side effect of this, you're negating the issue I just spoke about because the fees are now starting to significantly increase, which is giving miners valuable rewards. So if we do see this Ordinals trend continuing, if we do see the BRC20 tokens trend continuing long term, this is giving a new medium for miners to earn fees. And that negates the major Bitcoin security concern of what are miners going to do when the issuance halves. So we see 155,000 fees from this block, 177 aggregate fees generated. That's a huge amount of fees. And I'll actually show you the data here that transaction fees are above the mining reward for the first time in years, which means miners are earning more from the fees themselves than the mining reward. So the mining reward, now in the case of this block, the mining rewards were 300,000 and the fees were 155. So the mining reward was more technically. It was 11.6 Bitcoin. That was their reward for mining the block versus the fees that they received, which was 544. But there has been blocks in the past day, especially when transactions were spiking a couple days ago, actually, when they were really spiking, where that actually flipped. And we usually don't see the ratio so close. It's usually like a 5 to 10x ratio fee to reward split. But we're seeing that change. And for the first time, 2017, miners, some of them, are getting paid more to process transactions on the blockchain than they're getting rewarded for new BTC. Miners make money in two ways, obviously. Spawning new BTC by crunching numbers, so mining Bitcoin, and then also they get a reward for processing transactions on the network. Over time, by design, they become less profitable. Every so often, the reward cuts in half. That's the security concern I was talking about. And CoinDesk says here that creates, as I mentioned, an existential threat to the profitability of mining over the long haul. The big recent jump in profits from processing transactions could be a welcome development given the intense pain, including multiple bankruptcies that has struck the mining industry during this crypto winter. Their emergence over the past few months is a cool example of how, just when you think Bitcoin has become boring, there's something waiting around the corner that surprises everyone. And this Ordinals trend has taken many people by surprise. So what do I think of Ordinals? I'm pro Ordinals because I think you should be able to do whatever you want on the Bitcoin network. I'm not a Bitcoin maxi that thinks it has to be anything. Of course, I think Bitcoin's best use case isn't for payments. I think it's as a store of value. But then again, given the fact Bitcoin's digital, something like the Lightning Network, I totally support as a way to facilitate payments because, if we were able to trade gold divisibly, then it would be the perfect currency, right? So I do think what's happened over the last few years, the Bitcoin team has stagnated in terms of its response to upgrading and improving the network. This is likely a result of the fact nothing has forced them to change. The network's worked. We have Ethereum for smart contracts. There's been no real pressure on Bitcoin to become like an L1 or anything like that. So there's been no real pressing need to push improvements to the network. But now for the first time in a while, there may be a pressing need to step in and make improvements. I think the Lightning Network needs huge improvements. The Bitcoin network hasn't really been upgraded since Taproot 2 years ago. There are things that need changing. And I think long term, this will be a net positive, not only for the miners, but because it's going to force the needed change for the Bitcoin network. So I'm not as bearish as others are on the short-term headwinds that we're seeing as a result of network congestion. I totally get it's an issue, but long-term, I think more use cases for the network is more use cases, and more use cases essentially means more network effect as long as the network can handle it. And of course, we're going to need to see changes to the network, but that's a good thing. Binance also experienced, obviously, issues. They had to shut off withdrawals twice, but they just announced, this is very exciting, that they're integrating the Lightning Network. So for the first time, Binance, I don't know why they didn't do this a long time ago, but finally they have they've announced that they're using the Lightning Network for I'm assuming deposits and withdrawals, which is a good thing. So yeah, it's been wild. 400k transactions on Bitcoin plus, right now if we look at the mempool, 450,000. We've also seen Binance pausing withdrawals, highest number of transactions ever. It's actually 2x the highest point of 2018 and the 2021 bull market. So this isn't just like a small thing. This is a massive fundamental change to the network. How do you play it? Well, there's clearly a narrative here. The narrative is Ordinals. The narrative is Bitcoin BRC20. And I think because Bitcoin can't scale itself, Bitcoin L2s and Bitcoin infrastructure plays become valid investments, in my opinion. The issue is an L2 like Stacks, for example, it doesn't collect direct upside from inscriptions because you're not inscripting on Stacks. It's basically just an L2, right? However, we know in crypto that narratives are what tend to run above and beyond fundamentals. Like when you had the gaming run last year, the success of Axie doesn't necessarily mean the next copycat game should be worth the same as Axie, but it was because it was a narrative, the gaming narrative. And we see this all the time in crypto. L1s being valued super high just because other L1s are valued super high. So what really matters is mindshare, investor mindshare when it comes to investing and when it comes to crypto. Most of the time that trumps fundamentals. We just literally have seen that in the last week with Pepe. So for that reason, I think your Bitcoin proxy bets like Stacks, which may not be directly involved with Ordinals, but still are roughly in the Bitcoin L2 scaling ecosystem, they're going to be decent bets. Now, on Stacks, I am interested in longing this. The only thing that I don't like about this market right now is, I'm relatively risk off in terms of my altcoin positions because if you listen to the TA at the start, you'll know, look, we're in downtrends. I'm relatively risk off into what could be a rough month for macro. We need to see, obviously, the CPI data this week. We've got jobs data coming out. There's lots of data to come out, which I'm waiting for. But overall, it's a pretty tumultuous macro environment. We have multiple bullish headwinds, and we have bullish tailwinds and bearish headwinds for the market from the macro side. We could see a banking collapse, which forces rate cuts and Bitcoin performs well. We could also see a banking collapse, which causes a stock market collapse. Things can go either way. So it's a very risky time to be like super risk on. For that reason, I don't love longing longing altcoins right now today, like going crazy. Of course, I'm in some meme players. I'm in long-term stuff. I have been buying some tokens I like. Recently, I invested in 𝗲𝗄. I told you guys about that a couple days ago. Like I do buy stuff if I like it fundamentally. But in terms of like stacks, even the best coins, the strongest fundamental coins, they're going to struggle in a difficult macro environment, in a quantitative tightening environment. So for stacks, I would actually be interested in a long if we can break above and hold above this diagonal. We've had 2 deviations above, makes it pretty hard to breakout trade. But if we do get a breakout and a consolidation above this zone, then I would be interested in a long. The real zone, though, for me and buying stacks is a hold above the 85 cent zone. Unfortunately, you kind of miss this initial 10% push, which is probably why I will trade a confirmed retest of this area just to get some size in, maybe 20%. And then if we break above here, then I get more size in, and then I set my stop below. The initial entry should have at that point pumped, unless we get a crazy wick and I get stop lost. But it should have pumped, and then my stop loss should actually put me in net profit. Kind of my plan for stacks. Really, for me, I would like a more medium to long-term position. At that point, happy to buy at 67 or 50 at these fundamental levels. But in terms of like more of a trade, just on the back of this Bitcoin narrative, I think a break of this diagonal and then obviously consolidation above the top horizontal, which marked the local top back in Feb, that would be the level I'm looking at longing stacks at. RSK is another one. So RAF, basically what I'm doing at the moment is looking for Bitcoin players. I think we're going to see a lot of projects raising capital over the next few months. We're going to see a lot of new Bitcoin projects enter the market. We're going to see a lot of new interest in this sector. And basically, I'm just on the lookout for any Bitcoin-related L2 products, because I think that's the narrative at the moment. So when I was doing my research to find other proxy bets for Bitcoin L2s, the Bitcoin ecosystem, I found our RIF, RSK Infrastructure Framework. What it is it's a project designed to bring smart contracts to the ecosystem of Bitcoin. It's a separate blockchain attached to Bitcoin through a two-way peg. So when you send Bitcoin over to Rootstock, which is RIF, it becomes a smart Bitcoin living in Rootstock, which can be sent back to the Bitcoin chain. This concept is known as a sidechain. So it's like a Bitcoin sidechain, kind of like Matic's a sidechain for Ethereum. Technically, Rootstock nodes are using part of the Ethereum Java source, harnessing the EVM, and it's turning complete language to write and run smart contracts. Moreover, it promises faster payment and scaling of up to 100 transactions per second. So it's just kind of a novel approach to creating, a sidechain L2 for Bitcoin. So that's another one I'm looking at. They said they're building the blocks of a new financial system. So this one is quite interesting. And yeah, that's just one I'm taking a look at. Not necessarily aping, but just one I'm taking a look at. If I buy stacks, I might buy a little of this or other Bitcoin ecosystem tokens. Of course, not financial advice. Do your own research based on what you would personally like to do. But yeah, I'm just looking into the narrative because I think it's a strong one. All right, let's get to the title of the Bitcoin, not the Bitcoin. I'm thinking about Bitcoin. I'm Bitcoinified. Let's get to the title of the show, which is the Pepe short. Should we short meme coins? Is the meme coin run over? I have a segment here prepared to kind of help you guys evaluate where we currently sit in the meme coin cycle. I'm still seeing a lot of shilling in the comments. Most comments right now are shilling coins. We're seeing a lot of stuff. Not many legitimate questions. If you guys have legitimate questions, please feel free to ask. I would love to answer your questions. But seems like right now we're more interested in talking about King, Pepo, RXD, Lambo, Bam. Everyone's shilling memes. I get it, guys. Your degens, you want to play the meme coin casino? Well, let's talk about now whether it's worth playing the casino right now. So for Pepe, look, before we get into the current price action, I just want to say we've done well off this, right? Even if this is the top, we've done very, very well. You guys know on the show, we got the breakout at 2.6. We rode this, I think, a 16x all the way up. I took profits as it went. So at the orange line, this zone, this zone, this zone, a bit on the breakdown of this zone. So, my average profit probably was only like an 8x, but overall, that's still very good. Like, I'm still in. I'm a little moonbag, by the way. Haven't sold everything, but I've been, as you guys know, taking profits along the way. And I even opened a long in the trading comp, which saw me actually earn 58%. So Pepe as a coin to trade is an amazing coin to trade. Why is it great to trade? because you're trading against a bunch of retail noobs. The kind of people that trade Pepe are not very experienced traders. And for this reason, I feel like price action is a lot easier to gauge because you basically have to think, what would retail do right now? So if it does really breaking down, retail's going to sell, and then into the panic, you can long for the bounce, and into the huge pumps, you can short for a correction, kind of play into the fact that most people, especially inexperienced retail, get really bullish into resistance and really bearish into support. I mean, it sounds totally counterintuitive, but that's how retail trades. They get really bullish into resistance and really bearish at support. So you can remember that when you trade Pepe, and for that reason, it's been a great coin to trade. So I've been trading it over the last week, but I think this week I'll still look for trades on Pepe. The question is, what direction am I going to trade in next? Well, the other thing is, the way you approach spot is completely different to trading, right? So trading is short-term, in, out. You probably do it on an exchange to avoid fees, which are super high at the moment on Ethereum. So trading is very different for spot. If you're buying spot or selling spot, that's a very different conversation. Right now, I don't know if the risk reward's great to be buying spot, but especially like after it's moved up so much, maybe you're better off if you really want to play the meme coin game. I did a video yesterday on how to play the game, but if you really want to play the game, you probably want to look at your smaller caps now. But something like a Pepe is, I mean, this isn't great price action. I'm just going to look objectively, right? You have your high, you have your bearish rejection of your diagonal, you have a breakdown of your flag. It's actually a bull flag, so 30% chance it broke down, and it did. Broke down, then we had horizontal support, which we also broke down, had a retest on the 4-hourly, broke down, bounced off support. So this actually looks quite not great for Pepe. So would I short here? Well, the answer is the short was on the breakout of trend. This was the best place to short. If you guys watched the show yesterday, I gave this chart to you guys when we were here. So before we even broke down, and I said, you can probably trade this either way. And we ended up getting the breakdown. So I hope some of you did open a short on Pepe. If you didn't, and you missed that opportunity, and you're still keen on shorting, what I am kind of waiting for is a push up into this zone, and then I'll look for another lower high. So high, lower high, second lower high, push back down to make a lower low. Probably TP at the next key horizontal, which is the 1,485 level. That's kind of what I'm looking at for Pepe. The other thing I might do is actually take a long in this zone. I mean, long in this zone, short in this zone. If we do break down here and then retest, then you can flip short in this zone as well for a push down to 8.3. But I'm trading off these major horizontals right now. These are the best levels we've got on the highest time frame we've got for trading Pepe, which is basically the 4-hour zone. It's so far respected trends really, really well. We've seen this historically. It has been quite respectful. So if it continues to show respect, we can counter trade retail, which will likely not even be looking at charts and likely just aping into, oh my God, it's pumping. Let me get in. Maybe we see deviation above for that reason. And then we come back in below, and then on the retest, we short. That's what I'd be looking at for Pepe if we push back up there. Look, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. We'll pump. It could retest, and it could go up and make a new high again. At that point, I'll probably look to short the highs here. That's it. That's if you're keen on shorting. Of course, someone said downward channel on the 1 hour. We can look at that. Yeah, it is. It is. We see this channel. If you want to draw it in, draw it in like that. So yeah, it's basically, in a downtrend. So, all right, let's work out where the meme coin market currently sits though, because this is just price action. Price action doesn't tell the whole story. Price action is only a reflection of market conditions. So let's talk about the market conditions. Just looking at the comments. Someone said don't short. Yeah, shorting Pepe is super risky. It's really just fun. It's just gambling. Like, the thing with meme coin trading is it's gambling. It's not like the size I'll go in with a Pepe short or a Pepe long is like way less than I would go in on Bitcoin or Ethereum or Solana or AVAX or any other coin I have more of a gauge on. So let's talk about now where the meme coin market currently sits. By the way, if you do want to trade Pepe or other coins at your own risk, as the comment says, you can do so on OKX. So we have the ByBit comp, but we also have the OKX comp, which is in its final 2 weeks now. So you have 2 weeks to potentially win a Tesla or $50,000. You can pick whichever one you want. So huge prize, $50,000. The more you trade, the more raffle tickets you can build up. So for every $10,000 in cumulative trading volume, you get 5 raffle tickets. And the more you build up, the more chance you have of winning a Tesla. So link in the description to join that comp. We actually did just email the winner for the Maldives. If you won, comment below. Obviously, I haven't had a chance to speak to you, but if you are watching the show and you won, congratulations. Hope you have a nice holiday. And yeah, you can also claim the 7,500 if that's what you would prefer. I'm assuming that's what you'd prefer. I think most people prefer the cash. But yeah, congratulations. But the biggest prize for the ones that didn't win, which statistically is most of you, is still yet to come. So you haven't totally missed the boat. You can still win a Tesla or $50,000. And that's going to be a massive, massive, massive win if you can manage it. So link in the description to the OKX comp. Of course, they have Pepe and other memes and stuff, but they also have coins for serious traders as well. Someone said ARB by the dip. Just before we get into the meme charts, I will actually look at Arbitrum. ARB, A-R-B. Let's see what the Arbitrum price is showing us. I wouldn't buy the dip. This is actually really bearish for Arbitrum. What the hell happened to Arbitrum? Everyone was selling their airdrop because we broke down. And yeah, we get a retest here, and that's actually a short setup. I mean, just purely based on TA, right? You have your lows, you have your next test, you have your higher lows, and we've actually obeyed price structure pretty good with our range low here, range high here, and mid-range here. So we've actually broken down below range lows. So what I would prefer to do is I wouldn't buy now, black sales. You're right, it could be a great opportunity to buy the dip, but I would only do it if we reclaim this zone, confirm, and bounce. And I would buy somewhere here after the confirmation, targeting the 130 zone. That's only if we reclaim. Joe got wrecked so bad. Everything got wrecked. Everything got wrecked. It actually had a bearish test of the 3.9 zone and then rejected off it. But Joe, I don't think is a buy right now because there's still a lot more downside. I mean, look, for me, it's all about the BTC pairs. So we look at Joe BTC. And look, I'm really risk off. I'm sitting in a lot of cash right now, and I just have to be honest about that. So I actually don't mind lower prices. Joe BTC broke down. Remember when I said, I want to reclaim and hold on the BTC pair, which is this zone? Well, I would now start targeting this zone, the bottom of this zone now, because we're in no man's land completely. When you're in no man's land, it's hard to trade. Let's get into the meme coin theory. What is actually good to buy now? I'm going to give it a couple of days, personally. The last thing I bought was Spool. The last thing before that, can't even remember. Pepe, maybe. I haven't really bought much spot. I'm still waiting. Like I'm trading, but in terms of like buying stuff, I'm not that keen to buy right now. I just want to see where the market settles. It's really weird. This is a weird market. Like we have liquidity bleeding from total 3, breakdown of total 2, Bitcoin ETH looking bearish. But then again, you have big macro news. Like so much can change in the next day. We could be looking at a bullish market tomorrow. So I just don't have enough conviction in my bias to actually put significant capital into it. That's just the reality of the market right now for me. Maybe you're different. Maybe you have extreme conviction to be buying. And if you do, good on you. I can't say that I do. And I did a couple streams last week where we started breaking down. Remember when we were in this zone when I said, look, I'm actually feeling a little bit bad about this market around May 1st. And we have had a drop since then. So far my intuition's been correct. If you ask me, if you had a gun to my head and said, what's Bitcoin going to do next? I'd say, well, we probably push up a little bit, bleed a little bit, have a pump into this zone, and then probably a rejection that takes us down to probably 26.5. We see another bounce. And then at this point, I'll make a decision based on whether we reclaim the lows and then pump, or if we don't reclaim the lows and target range highs, then 25 would be my next zone. So that's what I'm looking at. But this, you guys watch the stream every day. You don't need to predict this. Tomorrow, I'll keep you updated basically as things progress. This is just how I'm feeling right now on the daily chart. But as things progress, I'll keep you updated. So meme coin season exit door closing by the Irishman. He said devs removing liquidity because the meme coin doesn't get traction. We've seen a lot of rugs, and this just happens. Whenever you see a sector that is so easy to make gains in, when you can literally start a meme coin, I'll show you. 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗬𝗕 did a video which got 2.5 million views of how to start a meme coin in 27 seconds. When it's this easy to start a rug, that's just going to open the door for scammers. So yeah, that's like everyone started just making meme coins. It went crazy. Influencers jumping on the meme train is another one. We've seen 𝗕𝗏𝗁 starting to brag about profits that he makes. We've seen 𝗕𝗏𝗁 launch his own Ben token. We've seen BitLord talk about Mong going institutional. Like, it's getting crazy. This meme coin stuff. Top signal, I don't know, but definitely a froth signal if it isn't a top signal. People barely holding out for a 2x. This is interesting. This is mostly anecdotal. What I've noticed is people are really this is a good thing, by the way. People are really looking to take profits now. Like, when the meme coin run first started, everyone was like buying and targeting like 50, 100x. Like, if they were going to sell for 10x, they weren't going to sell for 20x. They want to make 100x or 200x. Now we're seeing people take profits. I don't know if people are just getting smarter, or whether market conditions are forcing them to take profits. Now, by the way, meme coins are still performing well. I'm not saying meme coin season's dead. It's more just a case of things are looking frothy, and there's a chance that the top 4 memes are in, at least on Pepe, and now it's more of a rotational game. It is very PvP. Strong conviction. Gareth Trade says that shitcoin season's drawing to a close. Half of the timeline's launching them. Yeah, my whole feed was inundated with memes, and I get it. It's fun. It's gambling. Like, I love gambling just as the next guy. I went to the casino on the weekend and gambled. Like, I enjoy gambling, but the problem is, when people start treating gambling like investing, and I think everyone started getting a bit too carried away with the memes. Like, all right, let's trade meme coins for fun, treat it as a gamble, but let's not forget that there is serious prizes on the table ready to be collected for next cycle now by analyzing, researching and purchasing at historically low levels quality altcoins for next cycle. Like, that is when 99% of your focus should be, and 1% of your focus should be on catching the next meme coin. So, like, I'm happy to speculate on meme coins. I'm happy to chuck $1,000 into a meme coin, but only if I know that it's a gamble. So people treating it like proper investments, big problem, big problem. And I hope that's not you. If it is you, keep investing in meme coins, sure, but just maybe tweak the amount of time you're spending on them. Secure life-changing gains while you still can, for sure. Investing just gambling with a better probability. Yes, the alchemist. So there are ways to create an edge in any market. If you want to create an edge on meme coins, I did a video and a thread on this, on how to increase your edge. If you want to look at that, you can. And that will help you in the meme coin space. Investing is all about EV, expected value. If your expected value is in the positives, then you should take the trade. That's as simple as it is. And every time we trade, you have to create an EV. The way long-term, though, you can create an EV in a sector is by becoming an expert in a sector. Like, I've chosen crypto, right? I know I can't get an edge on the stock market. For me, I just buy and hold stocks long-term. I know I can't really get much of an edge in property because I'm not a property expert. But I know in crypto I can get an edge because I spend more time than the average person in this space. I've been in this space longer than the average person, and I understand the market better. And of course, the great thing about being a creator is, maybe you're not in this position, but the good thing about being creator is we get access to projects. Like, if I want to research a project and I don't know something about it, I have the luxury as a creator to ring up the team and ask them, all right, what are you working on? What's going on? How are you feeling about the market? I can ask them general questions about the project. If I don't know something about the project, I can ask them. That's a good thing about being a creator. I think that's the best part, actually. It's not really about money. It's about, and of course, good trading can lead to money, but it's more about the access you get to the industry. That's one of the major reasons why I've chosen to build my platform, because I love being involved in the industry, and it helps me as a trader. So it's all about ways you can create your own EV. Obviously, not everyone's going to become a content creator, right? But some people, you're going to learn trading. Some people are going to become experts in DeFi. Some people are going to become experts in an ecosystem, Cosmos. It's all about finding your niche and becoming an expert in that niche. Don't get carried away with trying to be an expert in everything. Don't be a DeFi and a meme coin and a layer 1 and a layer 2 and a crypto gaming and a crypto payments expert. You can't do it all. Pick a couple. Of course, you can do all that stuff with like 5% of your time, but 90 to 95% of your time should be on one thing. You got to pick what that thing is. You got to pick what that strategy is. If that's building a really good portfolio over time and managing it, and you spend an hour a day just managing it, then do it. But don't let the short-term trading and gambling get in the way of you building really good foundations for the next cycle. So in terms of the meme coin indicators as well that I look at for determining when a meme coin or any coin in general, by the way, is at a top, the first thing I look at is whether the 24-hour trading volume is flipping market cap. This did happen on Pepe, but I think what's happened now is it's actually gone back under. Let's check. Oh, this is bad. So yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Trading volume 969, market cap 791. Usually when we see flips here, that's signaling tops. And usually this happens after the top's in, so it's retroactive. So that's the first thing on my checklist. The second thing is lower highs being formed in a high time frame. And by the way, I made this checklist 3 days ago when Pepe was at all-time highs. So I'm not just making it now I'm not just making it now in retrospect. I actually made this when Pepe was at highs. And now we're going to evaluate on the Pepe chart whether these things are coming true. So 24-hour volume flipping, yes. Lower highs being formed in a high time frame. That's stacks, but I'll tell you the answer is yes off the top of my head. Let's just get the chart up. Yep. So you have your high, then you have your lower high, push up and make a lower high. Then that's your third lower high. That's a pretty convincing trend. Number of holders decreasing. Well, this is easy to look at. We go on to Pepe on Etherscan. Yep. Number of holders decreasing. It's the first day, minus 1.7. So that's 3 out of 3. Large whales starting to sell. Yep. Master Ventures sold all their Pepe 30 minutes ago when the tweet was done. So it was actually yesterday. They sold millions of dollars worth. We've also seen other big whales like, where are they? Oh, I didn't get the actual link. You can actually track them all on DBank. I'm not going to do it right now, but you can track them. But I have seen some of the big whales starting to sell. Obviously, once you're up 8x, you want to take it. And then the other thing is funding rates shifting from positive to negative. So Pepe funding rates. Funding rates ByBit. How do you get the funding rate for Pepe? I know on the I don't just want the funding rate for. I know on ByBit it shows you the current funding rate, but I want to view a historical chart. I mean, I know there's a website to do it. I'm just trying to look at it on the spot. Funding rate on Pepe was negative. Do you guys know where I can get the funding rates for Pepe? So it should be, for it to be bearish, it needs to flip negative to positive. I think that's what happened. But anyway, I don't know. All I know is that the top 4 out of 5 have come true. I can't verify this last one, but the top 4 are true. So if I had to make a call as the top in for Pepe, well, it's looking like it. I'm not saying that it can't reverse and pump again, but at least locally, you would have to think that the top's in. I mean, I wrote this before while Pepe was at all-time high. So I'm not just doing this now. All of these things basically happened after. So Coinalyze has Pepe. I didn't know that, actually. I did know that. Has its open interest. Its OI's down. You're right. Good tip. So yeah, we're seeing pretty neutral funding rates now. It was negative though, so now it's neutralized. So you could argue that this is starting to come true, but it hasn't quite come true. So I would say we're in the middle of this. We've gone through the first 4 phases, but we're in the middle of this because funding won't flip positive until a lot of people start shorting. I did know about Coinalyze. I just wasn't sure if they had Pepe, but yeah. All right, we verified 0.5s in the way. So that's how I'm feeling about Pepe. That's why I'm saying, like, just be careful of meme coins now. Now, I'm still gambling a little bit just on low caps, but in terms of gambling on Pepe, after like 4 pretty convincing top signals, it may be wrong. It may defy logic. It may pump, whatever, but like, maybes aren't how you trade. Crypto is all about EV, as we discussed before. So like, when you create an edge, use it. And if that edge is created by fundamentals, use it. If that edge is created by like pseudo indicators, use it. If my checklist is a pseudo indicator, then I'm going to use it and try and get an edge. And that's telling me Pepe probably has a local top. I could be wrong, but it's all about percentage probabilities, guys. It's all about percentage probabilities. The last thing I want to discuss is what's happened on ETH. So we've talked a lot about Bitcoin and how meme coins, BRC20s, and Ordinals have created like huge transaction congestion on the Bitcoin network. The same thing's happening on Ethereum. The difference is this isn't new for Ethereum, and Ethereum actually has like a long, detailed roadmap to rectifying the issue. One day, it might take a while. I know Cancun's set to reduce fees on L2s by an order of magnitude later this year. But what we've actually seen in the short term has been quite bullish from an Ethereum price standpoint. And I've talked about this before, but this has gotten crazy. The amount of Ethereum that's burnt over the last week has been 63,000. If you want to look at the yearly average issuance change based on the last weekly burn, you could assert that Ethereum is running at a minus 2.74% yearly supply growth. That means Ethereum is 2.74% deflationary now. That's pretty crazy. Now, if we were still on the merge, since the time of the merge, we would have injected 2.5 million ETH into the crypto economy. That's a lot of money. Whereas if you look at what has happened with proof of stake, instead, minus 195,000 ETH has been taken out of the economy. So the impact of the merge on Ethereum's monetary policy is almost indescribable. And the funny thing is, no one expected this kind of transaction volume on the Ethereum network this quickly. Like, I remember when the merge happened last year, everyone's models were like, oh, Ethereum's going to be like 0.1% deflationary at best. Well, they may be right over a yearly time frame, but if this pace of burn even remotely keeps up, we're going to see a 1% Ethereum reduction this year. And that's amazing. That's amazing for Ethereum's monetary policy. So yes, I agree, it can't be the network we want it to be without gas coming lower. And obviously long term it will go lower. But in the short term, it's bullish for Ethereum. And it's also bullish for L2s, of course, you know, with Cancun coming out later this year, which is going to make L2s cheaper to use. So it's good for ETH, but just be aware if you're trading meme coins, be very aware of this tweet. So if you're trading a $100 position on a meme coin or an altcoin on the Ethereum network, and the swap fees $30, you're instantly at a 30% loss. It's hard to consistently become profitable when you're constantly dishing off every time you trade 30% to the house, and the house is obviously Ethereum. If the meme coins are the games at the casino, Ethereum is the casino, it's the house. It's like starting a game of soccer, right? And sorry for the Europeans, most of you should be asleep. I know you call it football, but the Americans are watching right now, and Australians, we call it soccer. But it's like starting a game of soccer, 0-1 down, so you're down a goal every time you step on the field. So every time you trade $100, you're losing $30. You instantly have to climb out of being out just to break even. You're instantly wrecking your EV if you're trading low amounts with high gas. It's like literally starting a sport down. You're handicapped. You have an unfair handicap. So what does that mean? Well, you have to do these 4 things. You have to be very cognizant of how much you're going to lose and calculate that into EV. Transact off peak. Be more selective with entries and exits. Use other networks and exchanges when possible for non-Bitcoin specific swaps. And ideally, do less swaps and trade with more size when possible. So you have to find a way to still maintain risk management with less trades. Obviously, if you can trade not on Ethereum, trade not on Ethereum, right? But for the ones trading meme coins, a lot of the time you don't have a choice because they're only on ETH. So you might need to only do 2 buys instead of 5 DCAs, etc. Because you just be very wary of wrecking your edge. I think a lot of people aren't factoring in the gas fees into their EV. Even if it's a $5 fee out of $100, that's still, you're losing 5% straight away. Like if your edge is 5%, your edge is gone. You don't have an edge anymore. So it's something to be aware of. Scoring goals on yourself. Exactly. Why are fees so high? They're like $40, $35 to $40. I think I was 38 yesterday on Uniswap. Why are they so high? Because Ethereum's congested. And what happens with the Ethereum network is demand for gas is reflected in the fees. That's how the network works. Higher demand, higher fee to push the transaction through. And the quicker it is. You're in the UK? Glad you like the show. Sorry for calling it soccer, Sean. I'm sorry. So if you don't want to trade any coin not on Ethereum and you do trade on chain and you're like trading perps, look at an exchange like Gains instead, because then you can actually use Arbitrum or Polygon or a cheaper network. Gains has a lot of pairs too. So if you are trading perps or Forex, I think they also might have gold as well, and you want to trade it, you can do it. They do have gold here. You can do it on an exchange like Gains instead and not have to pay like crazy fees. You're only paying like, 5 cents per trade or something. Very small, depending on how transactions are on Matic or Arbitrum at the time. And you can also trade the USD pairs and all sorts of stuff here. So if you want to trade on Gains and kind of reduce gas, of course, this doesn't solve the problem for meme coin spot trading, but if you're trying to trade on perps, then I would look just using another exchange like Gains. So there's a link in the description to Gains Network if you would like to use that. And yeah, they've got a lot of trading pairs over on there. Mars Europeans, we do not sleep yet. Yeah, the Europeans go to bed late. I went to bed late, super late last night. It's one of the reasons why I was late. There was other reasons though as well. Had a crazy morning, but sorry for the ones that were here at 7:15 EST. Funny to see the narrative turn bearish overnight. Yeah, it is quite funny. This is kind of something I've been saying the whole time though. Like, I know the thumbnails are like bullish and bearish, but actually watch the content. The YouTube game's funny. It's funny when people judge a book based on its cover. Like, would you judge, like, I know it's a very old saying, but like, would you judge a book? Would you say, oh, this is a really bad book if you didn't like the cover? Like, no. So why do people judge YouTube shows based on thumbnails? It's the same thing. It's just a cover. And oftentimes it's sensationalized to get clicks. It's just the game, right? The actual content is what matters. So click for the thumbnail, stay for the content is something I preach. And I believe that, if you've been watching the content, you would know that at no point any of us were telling you to put your life savings into Pepe at the top. In fact, I was saying take profits. We called it a lot earlier. So yeah, not sleeping, still working. Amazing. Someone's still up from Istanbul. Monkey token devs migrated us from V1 to V2, just like Floki. Got some link yesterday. Fee was almost $40. Uniswap told me it was 18. Yeah, you almost can't trade on Ethereum. I'm kind of annoyed. I've got a lot of money stuck on ETH. And I have to get it off soon. It's getting stupid. But I'm just waiting. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I've kind of got, even though a lot of these positions I've got enough size to like counteract the percentage I lose to gas, I can't justify spending $40 on a gas fee. I'm just gonna wait a couple weeks. I mean, it's just stable coins. I don't really need them, but yeah. The other day I wanted to get money. Okay, this is the most fucking stupid part about crypto. Listen to this, right? Okay. I had $10,000 in a wallet. Okay? I had $10,000. What I wanted to do with that $10,000 was I wanted to withdraw it to an exchange. I wanted money for real life. I'm going on holiday this year. I'm going to Sicily. I'm traveling, and I want to book hotels. I wanted some money. So I wanted some real money. So the $10,000 was on my MetaMask, right? So, and I was out of gas. So I didn't have any gas. So here I am with $10,000 in a wallet and no physical way for me to transfer it to an exchange without transferring fiat currency from my bank to my exchange. Then I've got to use my fiat currency to buy Ethereum. Then I have to transfer that Ethereum from the exchange to the MetaMask just so I could transfer my $10,000 out. There's a reason why crypto isn't mass adopted, and it's because of shit like this, design flaws like this. Why can't, and I know I'm asking a rhetorical question because clearly there's a fundamental reason why you can't, but theoretically, why can't I just pay the gas out of my nominal amount? For example, if I transfer $10,000 from a wallet to my exchange, why can't I transfer 9,990 and then the wallet just takes the 10 stable coins and counts it as Ethereum? Like, why does it need to be Ethereum? Why can't it swap that 10K out for Ethereum, pay the gas, and then, you know what I mean? Like, why do I need to go put fiat into an account, put gas into an account just to transfer money that is stuck there? Like, you had the same thing happen to you, Blue. Everyone has this happen to them, and it's so stupid. We need a solution, in my opinion. I'm actually very passionate about this problem. Very passionate about this problem because I'm a big believer in DeFi adoption long term, right? I think DeFi is amazing. Like, once you're in the ecosystem, if you're using a cheap chain, it's amazing. So many possibilities, right? It's amazing. But we can't get mass adoption if we're relying on centralized on-ramps constantly just to pay gas. Why can't we just pay fucking gas with the tokens that are in our wallets? I've got $10,000. I'm not a brokey. I can pay the freaking gas, but I've got no way to swap it into Ethereum to transfer it out. It's just like, it got me really frustrated. And it's a little thing, right? It only takes me 5 minutes to go from my, account to my Binance to my, but then it's annoying. I'm doing like verifications on my Gmail and on my Authenticator app. And like, it's a 5 to 10 minute ordeal. If you're a retail user and you've never used an exchange before, good luck. Good luck transferring fiat on and withdrawing through the right network and finding your wallet and then making sure it's on Arbitrum when you want it on Ethereum. Good luck. And then you send it to the wrong one and then you got to transfer it out and then you don't send enough gas because gas is high. You only have $30 instead of $40. So now you got to do another 10. Good luck. It's a problem. And yeah, there are wallets. Someone said Atomic Wallet does this. There are wallets that do it. 100%. 100%. There are lots of like Cosmos. Like, there are lots of ecosystems which are solving the problem. Unfortunately, though, the problem isn't solved on MetaMask. And it's absolute rubbish. Yeah, I do believe the solution's coming. But whoever fixes this problem, I would love to invest in you because it's absolute bullshit. I was just sitting there yesterday, like on my couch, just thinking, like, literally right there on my couch. And I was just thinking, this is stupid. We're never getting mass adopted if it's like this ever. Like, if I'm getting pissed off and I've been in crypto for 4 years now, what is someone that's just joined today gonna think? How the fuck are they gonna use a DEX? They're not. Anyway. Anyway, that's that. Any Pepe short setups? Yeah, I went through before. You can go back and look at my logic, but I'm looking at this. I'm targeting this 2.4 level. Remember, if you don't want to trade any coin, you can do so on OKX for the Tesla. We've got the Tesla giveaway going on there, and you can also trade on ByBit, but also for Tesla. So we've got 2 Teslas. One's a trading comp, one's a giveaway. Link in the description to sign up to both of those. Preach on, brother Miles. Yeah, well, I think it's a problem a lot of us kind of feel. I think a lot of us will relate to it. That's why I told the story. It's such a basic problem. And it's also annoying because 10,000 was an arbitrary number. If I had $1 million, it'd be the same problem. Like, are you telling me a millionaire still needs to waste, like, it doesn't matter how rich you are, you're still wasting time on the stupid gas thing. So the TA on Sui is really hard because there's no price historical data, Ryan. But I will say this. I'm going to go off gut feel. This is completely gut feel and I may be wrong. I wouldn't buy Sui spot for long term. I think it's overvalued garbage in comparison to the rest of the market. Like, if we actually look at FDV, look at this, right? Market FDV. Sui is worth more than AVAX and Arbitrum and Polygon and Aptos. Like, it's basically like a top 10 project if you exclude the stables for fully diluted. Long term, this gets repriced a lot lower. in my opinion. Here's the thing, though. It's not liquid. A lot of the supply isn't hitting until later in the year, and due to the low liquidity, we could see upwards price action because it's kind of like Aptos, right? We saw a lot of shorts piling up because everyone was saying, "Oh, Aptos is overvalued. Aptos is overvalued. Let me short it." And shorts piled up. We got massive short squeezes. Similar thing can happen over on Sui, where you see these squeezes. So at $1, from a trade perspective, I'm interested in longing $1 for a bounce, short-term trade. I just think we get a squeeze at some point. Then I will cut, and then at some point I will flip short like I did on Aptos. Around $20, I flip short on Aptos. Aptos is wrecked now compared to then. Similar thing happens with Sui. I think we probably pump and then dump after. I actually want to add, let's have a bit of fun. Let's see the similarities between Aptos's price action and Sui's price action when it first launched. I can't be bothered doing it now because I need to configure candles and yeah, my trading view's not set up, but anyway. I can do it anecdotally, hold on. APT. So Aptos in its first... I've got Aptos versus Aptos here. All right, there's Aptos. And I'll get Sui. And we'll compare them. Their first week. What time frame am I on? I'm on the 1 hourly chart. Fuck off. So this was 1, 2, 3, 4 days. This was 1, 2, 3, 4. So I got to zoom out more on Aptos. This is like a week. It's like almost a week. All right. So it's like this. So you have the huge wick to the upside, check. Huge wick to the upside, check. Short-term bounce, check. Short-term bounce, check. Then Aptos went sideways, and then it pumped. Sui has gone sideways, exact same thing, and then it dumped. Exact opposite. Well, it was the exact same until it dumped. It was the exact same until it dumped. Aptos pumped. Then what it did was dump. And then it pumps huge. So this was just like a short-term pump, sideways dump. Then it pumps huge. Low liquidity, short squeeze, short squeeze. I wonder if a similar thing happens to Sui. Where like, you know, you get this dump. Then we go sideways. And then at some point it just rips. Before we crash back down again. That's kind of what I feel. I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't have a crystal ball, but like, I do think it's going to happen. I just got this feeling we get an Aptos short squeeze. I've just seen this movie too many times before. Shit tokens launch. No, I'm not saying it's a shit token, by the way. I think it's got some merit, but like shit tokenomics just create this no like liquidity. There's no circulating supply. So when it pumps, it'll rip if there's a short squeeze. But I'm just going to wait for $1 and then I'll get an entry. I went through my levels on Pepe before. Cool. I'm going to head off here. I'll see you guys tomorrow, though, for a market update. Hope you enjoyed today's show. We covered a lot of stuff. We covered the problem and the good thing about the Bitcoin network. We covered the problems with the Ethereum network. I gave you my market update and outlook for the week. We talked about a few tokens I'm interested in. We talked about meme coins. We talked about Aptos Sui. Quite a lot of stuff. So smash the like button if you enjoyed. And, of course, if you want to trade, in the trading comps, there is a link in the description to 𝗕𝗏𝗧𝗕𝗏 and the ByBit 𝗕𝗏. I will see you guys tomorrow. And yeah, have a lovely rest of your day. Peace out.